Hello children, in the last class we have studied how the zygote is formed. We have also studied the cleavage of zygote, that is zygote is divided into morula in the fallopian tube and then it is transported into the uterus where it absorbs nutrient and develops into blastocyst. Okay. Now in the uterus it get implanted. Let us have a recap of the diagram of blastocyst. Now you see here, this is the structure of the blastocyst and it is having inner cell mass which is also known as embryonic node. This inner cell mass develops into embryo and the outer layer which is known as the trophoblast, that is the peripheral cell, is known as the trophoblast, that develops into the extra embryonic membrane, and you can see another layer which is surrounding this blastocyst, that is known as zona pellucida. One more cell is there here, this is known as Rober's cell. This Rober's cell are in touch with this trophoblast. That means the cells which are in touch with the inner cell mass is known as Rober's cell. Okay. Now you can see here the zona pellucida. What happens in the uterus? This trophoblast secretes a proteinaceous enzyme. That proteinaceous enzyme break this zona pellucida and that process is known as hatching. So what is hatching? Breaking of zona pellucida by the enzyme released from trophoblast. So that process is known as hatching. Now what happened after hatching? This zona pellucida, this membrane get dissolved. Now the zona pellucida is completely dissolved and then what happens? This trophoblast is having certain characteristic feature. What is the characteristic feature of trophoblast? Let us see one by one. First, they are sticky in nature. Let us write here. They are sticky in nature. Trophoblast they are sticky in nature. And second, lytic. Third, phagocytic. These are the three characteristic features of this trophoblast. They are sticky, that means due to this sticky characteristic feature, they can bind with the endometrial tissue. And lytic, they can break the endometrial tissues. And phagocyte, the broken tissues are engulfed by this trophoblast. So these are the characteristic features of the trophoblast that makes them to bind with the endometrial tissues. This is the endometrial tissues. The binding of endometrial tissues, the blastocyst with the endometrial tissues is known as implantation. So what is implantation? That is attachment, we can say attachment of blastocyst with endometrial tissue is known as implantation. Okay. So what happens during implantation? As soon as it attaches with the endometrial tissues, the endometrial tissues show certain changes in the characteristic features. So let us see what are the changes which happens in the endometrium. Changes in the endometrium. When this change takes place, as soon as the blastocyst attaches with the endometrium, at that time the changes takes place in the endometrium. The first change, where this cells, this trophoblast attaches with the endometrial tissue, that region shows a local edema. Local edema. What do you mean by that? That means the region swell. Okay, that particular region. Local edema means that this region, only this particular region of the endometrium swells. Okay. Second characteristic feature is that blood vessels and the wall of endometrium get permeable. That is, blood vessel and wall of endometrium increases its permeability. It becomes more permeable. We can write it as more permeable. Okay. What is the third characteristic feature? You can see the fibroblast. These fibroblasts are filled by glycogen filled cells. So fibroblast changes into glycogen filled cell. Okay, these are the changes which happens in the endometrium. So what are the changes? That is, it shows a local edema. Second, the blood vessels and the wall of the endometrium become permeable. And third, glycogen filled cells are formed in place of fibroblast. These changes helps to provide nutrition, nourishment to this developing embryo. Okay. As soon as it touches with this endometrial tissues, this is the trophoblast. Trophoblast divide rapidly. It shows a proliferation in the growth. So it makes a finger-like projection that penetrate into the endometrial tissues. And as they penetrate the endometrial tissues and makes a foundation for the placenta. So what is this finger-like projection is known as chorionic villi. It is the chorionic villi. This chorionic villi secrete a hormone which is known as HCG. That hormone is known as HCG, that is human chorionic gonadotropin. Human chorionic gonadotropin. What is the function of this hormone? This hormone prolongs the life of corpus luteum. What is this corpus luteum? We already studied about the process of ovulation. In the process of ovulation, what we have studied, the Graafian follicle breaks and the remaining part of the Graafian follicle is converted into corpus luteum. If you remember the structure, corpus luteum, which secrete what? Progesterone. So, what is the function of this HCG? HCG prolongs the life of corpus luteum. It prolongs the life of corpus luteum. As it prolongs the life of corpus luteum, it continuously secretes progesterone. Progesterone helps in maintaining the endometrial tissue, thus it helps in maintaining pregnancy. Okay. Now, what happened as this growth of the chorionic villi takes place, or you can say the chorionic villi penetrates the endometrial tissues, what happened? It secretes, the secretion of HCG increases in the urine also. That is, the presence of HCG appears in the urine also. The urine test of the pregnant female shows positive pregnancy test. The presence of HCG in the urine shows a positive pregnancy test. Okay. Now, suppose there is something happened to the embryo, or there due to some abnormality, embryo damages. Okay. At that time, what happened? This chorionic villi, it decreases the secretion of HCG. Which is decreasing the secretion of HCG? Chorionic villi decreases the secretion of HCG. So as the HCG get reduced, it do not unable to maintain corpus luteum. So the level of the progesterone is reduced. When the level of the progesterone get reduced, what happen? Abortion will takes place. This is the reason why early abortion takes place. Now come to this topic. Now what happened? The blastocyst penetrate with the help of chorionic villi, enters into the endometrial tissues, and then here you can see it comes in contact with the blood vessels of the mother, maternal blood vessels. Now this is the myometrium. Myometrium is a smooth muscular tissue. Above this smooth muscular tissue, you can see the columnar epithelial tissue, that is the endometrium. Chorionic villi come in contact with the blood vessels of the mother, and they attaches with the blood vessels of the mother and start to draw the nutrition from the blood vessels, thus forming placenta. So what is placenta? We'll see what is placenta. Placenta, it is the structural and functional unit formed between developing fetus and mother. Developing fetus and mother. Mother's blood, or you can say mother's uterine tissues, or you can say the uterine tissue. Okay, that is known as the placenta. Okay, so how these placentas are formed? Let us see how the placentas are formed. Formation. This placenta is formed from fetal part. Okay, so what is the fetal part? Fetal part is the chorionic villi. Chorionic villi is the fetal part, and maternal part is the decidua. So what is this decidua? Decidua is nothing but the endometrium. After implantation, the endometrium is now called as decidua. There are three types of decidua. So this is known as the decidua parietalis, decidua basalis, and decidua capsularis. What is decidua basalis? The decidua basalis is placed at the base of the endometrium. That is the base of the endometrium above the myometrium. Okay. And decidua capsularis is a endometrial tissue. You see here, as soon as the placenta get implanted over here in the endometrium, the tissues of the endometrium covers the blastocyst. Okay. And now the blastocyst is inside the endometrial tissue. So we can say this blastocyst sink into the endometrium and get buried in the endometrium. Okay, that type of implantation is known as interstitial implantation. So what is interstitial implantation? The blastocyst sink into the endometrium and it is buried in the endometrium, and there the development takes place. That is known as interstitial implantation. Now what is this deciduo capsularis? The endometrium which is present at the region of implantation develops, divides and covers the entire blastocyst, forming a capsule-like structure that is known as the deciduo capsularis. So this deciduo capsularis is a cavity between the blastocyst and the endometrial tissues. Now the third one is deciduo parietalis. What is deciduo parietalis? Other region of the endometrial tissues. That is this region, and this region of this endometrial tissues are known as deciduo parietalis. Okay. Now how this both are united? Actually what happened? The chorionic villi and the decidua get interdigitated to form the placenta. Okay. So placentas is the combination of both fetal part as well as the maternal part. The development of the placenta completes in 11 weeks. 11 week is required for the completion of the placenta. Here only the placentas are formed. This is the embryonal region. How the placenta get connected with the embryo? With the help of a umbilical cord. We can see here, suppose this is a embryo, developing embryo. Okay, it is connected with a cord-like structure. Suppose this is the placenta. This is developing embryo, and this is the umbilical cord. Okay, the developing embryo is connected with the placenta through umbilical cord. The length of the umbilical cord is about 12 to 24 inches. Okay, so this is about the placenta. Now we will see the functions of placenta. Let us see the functions of placenta. The first function is it acts as a nutritive organ. It acts as a nutritive organ. How it acts as a nutritive organ? In the mother's blood, nutrients are there. That nutrients are transported into the fetal's blood through placenta. Okay. So next is it acts as a digestive organ. Digestive organ. In the mother's blood, having complex proteins. So these complex proteins are digested by the trophoblast of the placenta, and it is converted into simple protein. That simple proteins are transported into the blood of the fetus, and this way it acts as a digestive organ. Next is it acts as a respiratory organ. Respiratory organ. Oxygen which is dissolved in the mother's blood, it is transported into the blood of the fetus, and the carbon dioxide which is produced in the fetal blood is transported into the mother's blood through this placenta, and then this carbon dioxide is eliminated out of the mother's body through the mother's lungs. Okay. Next, fourth, it acts as a excretory organ. Excretory organ. How it acts as an excretory organ? This fetus blood produces nitrogenous waste like urea. These ureas are removed from the fetus blood into the mother's blood through placenta. Again, this nitrogenous waste is removed from the mother, which is or you can say eliminated from the mother through kidney. Okay. Next is it acts as a excretory organ or endocrine. We have already completed excretory. Now it is endocrine organ, or it acts as an endocrine gland. Placenta, after complete development, it acts as an endocrine gland. What is the function of endocrine gland? Endocrine gland secretes certain hormones. We have studied HCG, that is human chorionic gonadotropin. Next, what is the function of HCG? It prolongs the life of corpus luteum. Next is, it also produces HPL. What is the full form of HPL? Human placental lactogen. So this hormone stimulates the mammary gland and it develops the mammary gland so that is for the secretion of the milk. Next, it also secretes progesterone. Now, this progesterone, earlier it is secreted from the corpus luteum. Where the corpus luteum is? Corpus luteum is in the ovary. Now, later the progesterone is secreted by the placenta. Okay, this progesterone is secreted by the placenta. Next is estrogen. Okay, another hormone, that is the estrogen. This estrogen also secreted from the placenta. It helps in maintaining the pregnancy, okay, and as well as it helps in the development of the fetus. So this is how it acts as an endocrine gland. Next, it acts as a storage organ. It acts as a storage organ. How it acts as a storage organ? Placenta store glycogen. So this glycogen is supplied to the fetus. Next, it acts as a barrier. Most of the components are not transported to the fetus. Okay, so what happened? There are certain things which is transported from mother's body to the body of the fetus. That are known as teratogens. This teratogen causes harm to this developing fetus. So what are the teratogens? That is drugs and nicotine, alcohol. These are the teratogens that causes damage to the fetus. Moreover, certain virus and bacteria can also enter into the fetus through where? Through the placenta, causing diseases like AIDS and all. Okay. Now, next is, so these are the functions of the placenta. These are the different functions of the placenta. Okay. Next, we'll study how the inner cell mass. What is the inner cell mass? We have studied that this is blastocyst. Blastocyst is having inner cell mass. This inner cell mass develops into embryo. This develops into embryonic. This is embryonic knob. This embryonic knob develops into embryo. Okay. So how the development takes place? Now we'll study. Actually, what happened? This embryonic knob develops into 3 layers. What are the 3 layers? They are ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. These are the 3 layers which is formed in the process of embryogenesis. We'll study how this ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderms are formed. Now children, here we are going to study about how the 3 germ layers, that is the ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderms are formed. Now this diagram you have already seen. So this is the embryonic knob. Okay, this embryonic knob the cells of this embryonic lobes are arranged irregularly. Okay, these cells are attached with the cell which is known as Rauber's. This is known as the Rauber's cell. Okay, during the developmental process, what happened? This inner cell mass or embryonic knob arranges itself. Okay, it is regularly arranged to form a embryonic disc. Simultaneously, what happened? The Rauber's cell disintegrate. So two things is happening here. That is the Rauber's cell disintegrate and the embryonic knob arranges itself to form an embryonic disc. As the Rauber's cell is removed, this embryonic disc is pushed towards the upper region. Now the trophoblast. This is the trophoblast. Okay. Now this cell, this is the embryonic disc. It undergo transverse division. When it undergo transverse division, it forms epiblast and hypoblast. Epiblast develops into embryo. Hypoblast do not have any role in the development of embryo. Now what happened to the epiblast? Epiblast again divide a layer of cells. This layer of cells get detached in a layer like this. So suppose it is forming a layer of cells. This is the columnar cells. Okay, so this layer is formed. Actually this layer totally detaches from the epiblast. Okay, then it started to divide from both the direction. Okay, so it divides and forms a circular cavity. So this is the endoderm. This is how endoderm is formed, which is said to be the primitive gut. This region is said to be the primitive gut. This region which is near the trophoblast is known as the yolk sac. Then what happened? You can see this embryonic disc. Again the peripheral region divides from both the direction, lining the trophoblast, making a ectoderm. So now you can see here endoderm and ectoderm. And what happened next? Next, the remaining part of the this embryonic disc divide and proliferate in the forms of lumps. It is detached to the middle portion of this that is between endoderm and ectoderm, forming a mesoderm. Now here you can see a cavity is formed. How the cavity is formed? Due to the disintegration of Rauber's cell. So this cavity increases and it acts as a amniotic cavity. Okay, that amniotic cavity is filled with amniotic fluid. It later covers the entire embryo. This is how the three germ layers are formed. Now you can see ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. Okay, now we will see the clippings. What are the changes? What are the organs which is formed from the ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm? Now see the clippings. This is the first layer, that is the ectoderm, the outermost layer which lines the trophoblast. This ectoderm give rise to what are the things? Epidermis of skin, epidermal derivatives like glands, hair, nail, nervous system and medulla of adrenal gland, posterior and intermediate lobes of pituitary gland, pineal glands, eye and internal ears, lining of external auditory canals, lacrimal gland, salivary gland and enamel. So the next is mesoderm, which is present between the ectoderm and endoderm, which produces dermis of skin, most muscles, that is connective tissues, peritoneum, kidney, cortex of adrenal gland, gonads, urinary and reproductive ducts, and heart, blood and lymph vessels, spleen, wall of gut and pericardium and pleura, sclera of and choroids of eye, most of the skeleton, dentine of teeth. These are the notochords. These are the things which is produced from the or developed from the mesoderm. Next is endoderm. Endoderm consists, it develops gastric and intestinal glands, tongue, epithelium, liver, pancreas, anterior lobe of the pituitary gland, thyroid gland, parathyroid gland, thymus gland, lining of trachea, bronchi and lungs, lining of urinary bladder, lining of middle ear, primordial germ cells and greater part of the prostate. These are the things which is developed from the endoderm. So we have seen that the three germ layer, that is ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm, give rise to different organs. So in this class we have studied about the development of extra embryonic membrane as well as the development of the embryo, formation of three germ layer. In the next class we will study about parturition and lactation. Thank you.